So I very recently feel like I've made the shift from like, oh my God, how do we deprogram all of this SRA that has been going on, and how do we clean up the satanic activity and the satanic constructs in ourselves, to now we've hit the tipping point and we're kind of going into how do we build a world that is better than the one that we had before, and how do we like nourish each other. And I'm not talking about like what a perfect society would be like. That's not where we are. Like, we're coming out of just hundreds of thousands of years of horrific SRA and basically the hold of Satan on this planet. And so what I'm trying to think of is like, what is it going to look like to be a society that like needs to acknowledge all the stuff that we've gone through and hold each other through the grief, but also be like really nourishing and tender and honoring the stuff that we went through, but also building towards a much better future. So, um, I think we should take notes on the animal kingdom and babies and small children because they're closest to source, and we should emulate them. So I kind of had that in my mind when I was making this list. This is what I've come up with. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments. So first, lying down more is like a really big one that I was coming up with. Animals and babies just kind of lounge around most of the time, and nature is not punishing them for that. It's just the natural state of things. So I think we should be doing that more often. I've been doing that more often, and it feels so nourishing to my body to just be laying down most of the time. Second is learning to balance silence and communication. When we're in silence, we can just kind of be like, enjoying the feeling of being with somebody and not needing anything from them, just kind of like existing in each other's fields. And that's really nice and low stress, low pressure. And when you're when you're like trying to be intentionally silent, you are naturally going to be around people that you like versus or around people that you tolerate or even dislike. So cultivating silence, but also cultivating authentic communication. You want to express yourself authentically, and you want to embody yourself in your speech. And with those two things together, I think we can build more of a harmonious way of relating to ourselves and others. That directly counteracts the satanic ideal of like, you must have competition, you must limit your love to these small circles of families. Third is including a lot of gentle physical touch into our lives. I know I have personally spent most of my life just craving a cuddle. Like, I just want somebody to hold me. And that's a result of having been through really, really bad trauma and just wanting to feel safe. But it's also like literally restorative technology. So we should be kind of introducing safe, platonic, gentle touch back into the zeitgeist. Like just kind of holding hands with loved ones, kisses on the cheek, just holding people and using touch as it was intended, which is a healing technology. And even non-platonic touch is important to address too, because we've been conditioned into using sensuality as this tool of harm and depression and pain. And we've been programmed to hurt each other through sensuality. So I feel like it can be so restorative to intentionally engage in gentle sensuality with each other. And recognizing that in consensual relationships, it's not the enemy. It is healing and powerful and a wonderful tool of taking back your power. Next is finding intentional spaces for grieving. Like, we can't just ignore the fact that we've come out of thousands of years of literally satanic ritual abuse being the norm in our society. We need to cry together. We need to release together. And we need to like be heard, what we've gone through, all of the terrible stuff, so that we don't take it with us into this new world. Next is intentionally speaking the future into existence. So I'm committing to allowing my language to shape the future. I think cussing is really fun, but I'm moving away from cussing as like just something I do to express hilarity when I'm hanging out with my friends. I don't really want to do that anymore. I want to use curse words. Like, it can be about humor, but when they're kind of like directed at the people that I don't want in my world, you know? Like SRA abusers, I might make a joke and use the F word, and that curse is going to fall upon them, and they're going to slow down. And so I think being really intentional about where you use curse words might actually be a good way to usher us into a better society. And also just being careful about the things that I like to talk about. Like, I want to talk about having cob homes, earthen homes. I want to talk about I want to talk to people that see clearly spiritually and are committed to the truth. And I want to be around people that are constructive. And that love and harmony is going to be the most important thing towards building a future that is devoid of SRA. And yeah, that's the next point on my list, which is coming together with the goal of harmony. Like, we don't have to be so like in our individual lane working on ourselves, because I feel like we've done that for the past however many years. It's just been us isolated doing the work by ourselves. And now I get this sense that we're good enough. We are good enough to come together. And if we all have enough of a sense that we want harmony and not division, we want to lift each other up, then it's going to work out. And lastly is no more working for money. Like, the whole point of doing is to express your authenticity. So no more going to a workplace that you're only going to for money. So yeah, that's my list of the behaviors that I think are going to help us shape a world that is going to leave SRA behind as the dominant culture and come into a dominant culture of harmony and mutual nourishment. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments, and also I now have grief groups, healing circles, and a satanic holiday healing